Abandoned. The air smelled like gasoline and burnt coffee. I stood there, 15 years old, my sneakers scuffing against the cracked pavement of the gas station parking lot, watching as my family's beat-up station wagon idled by the pumps. My father had just tossed a 20 at me, grinning like this was all some big joke. "Go grab yourself a soda, kid. We'll be right back." I should have known. I should have seen the way my brother smirked, the way my mother avoided my eyes. But I was stupid. Trusting. I walked into that dingy little convenience store, the bell jingling overhead, and picked out a Coke, the cheap off-brand kind, because I didn't want to waste the whole 20. The cashier, an older guy with a stained shirt and tired eyes, barely glanced at me as I paid. When I stepped back outside, the car was gone. At first, I thought maybe they'd just moved it, parked around back or something. But then I heard it, laughter, loud, cruel, the kind that scrapes against your ribs like a knife. My brother's voice carried across the empty lot. "Hey, runt, better start walking." And then my father, louder, drunk on his own power. "Let's see if he can crawl back." The engine revved. Tires squealed. I ran. I actually ran, my heart slamming against my ribs, my backpack bouncing against my shoulders as I sprinted after them, my stupid soda slipping from my grip and exploding against the asphalt. "Wait!" I screamed, but they didn't. The taillights shrank into the distance, their laughter fading with them until all that was left was the hum of the neon sign above me and the slow, sickening realization they weren't coming back. I stood there, breath ragged, fists clenched, the last of the sun bleeding out behind the trees. The cashier watched me through the smudged glass, pity in his eyes, but he didn't come out. No one did. That was the moment I learned what it felt like to be truly alone, not just forgotten, discarded. I sank onto the curb, my throat burning, my eyes dry because I refused to cry. Not for them, never for them. The wind picked up, carrying the scent of oil and rotting fast food. Somewhere in the distance, a dog barked. A truck rumbled past, its headlights cutting through the growing dark, but it didn't stop. I checked my pockets. $12. A half-empty pack of gum. No phone, no plan. I looked down the empty road where their car had disappeared, and I made a decision. I wasn't going to crawl back. I wasn't going back at all. The first night. The fluorescent lights of the gas station buzzed overhead, flickering like a dying heartbeat. I stood there, my sneakers scuffing against the oil-stained pavement, staring at the empty road where their car had disappeared. The air smelled like gasoline and rain, thick and suffocating. They'll come back. That's what I told myself at first. 5 minutes passed, then 10. The sun dipped lower, painting the sky in angry reds and purples. My stomach twisted. Not just from hunger, from the slow, sinking realization that this wasn't a joke. I walked back inside the gas station, the bell above the door jingling like some sick punchline. The cashier, a bored-looking guy with a greasy mustache, glanced up from his magazine. "You still here, kid?" I swallowed hard. "Can I use your phone?" He sighed but slid the corded phone across the counter. My fingers shook as I dialed home. Ring, 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 no answer. I tried again and again, nothing. The cashier's expression shifted from annoyance to something else. Pity. I hated it. "Look, kid, you can't loiter." "I know," I snapped, slamming the phone down. I walked back outside, the wind biting through my thin hoodie. The parking lot was empty now, just me and the flickering neon sign casting jagged shadows. I sat on the curb, my knees pulled to my chest, and for the first time I let myself cry. Hot, silent tears streaked down my face. Not because I was scared, though I was, but because they left me, my own family, like I was nothing. A semi-truck rumbled into the lot, brakes hissing. The door creaked open and boots hit the pavement. "You in trouble, kid?" I looked up. A trucker, maybe in his 50s, with deep lines around his eyes and a faded denim jacket, stood there, studying me. I wiped my face with my sleeve. "I'm fine." He didn't buy it. "When's the last time you ate?" I didn't answer. He sighed, then jerked his head toward the gas station. "Come on." I followed him inside. He bought me a burger, a bag of chips, and a Coke. The first bite was heaven and hell at the same time, warm, greasy, delicious, but it made my throat tighten. "Where you headed?" he asked. I stared at the table. "Nowhere." He chewed slowly, watching me. "I'm heading to Bakersfield. Got an empty passenger seat if you want it." I should have said no. I should have waited. Called the cops. Done something. But the truth? I didn't want to go back, not to them, not ever. So I took the ride, and I never looked back. 10 years gone, The first year was the hardest. After that trucker dropped me off in the next town, I slept behind a diner, curled up against the dumpster, shivering in the cold. I stole food when I had to, washed up in gas station bathrooms, learned to keep my head down, my mouth shut. Then I met Rosa. She was the night manager at a 24-hour diner, a tough woman in her 50s with a smoker's rasp and a gold cross around her neck. She caught me trying to pocket a pack of crackers, and instead of calling the cops, she sat me down in a booth and slid a plate of eggs and bacon in front of me. "You running from something, kid?" I didn't answer, just ate like I was starving because I was. She sighed. "You wash dishes, you eat. No pay under the table, but you sleep in the back storeroom. Deal?" It was the first kindness I'd been shown in months. I worked there for a year. Rosa became the closest thing I had to family. She taught me how to lie about my age, how to open a bank account with fake paperwork, how to survive. When I turned 16, I left. Not because I wanted to, but because I knew if I stayed, I'd never be more than a dishwasher hiding from the world. The hustle, I hitchhiked to the city, slept in shelters, took any job I could find, janitor, stockboy, construction grunt. I saved every penny. At night, I taught myself to code on a beat-up laptop I bought from a pawn shop. The library became my school. The internet, my teacher. I remember the first time I got paid for a website, $200. It felt like $1 million. By 18, I was freelancing full-time. By 20, I had a small team. By 22, I sold my first app for 6 figures. But money wasn't the hard part. The hard part was the loneliness. I'd see families in restaurants laughing, hugging, fathers clapping their sons on the back, mothers fussing over their kids, and every time, something inside me twisted into a knot. Why wasn't I enough for them? At 24, I met Elijah Carter, an older investor who took a chance on me. He became my mentor, taught me how to move in the business world, how to dress, how to talk. One night, over whiskey, he asked me about my family. "They dead?" I laughed, bitter. "Might as well be." He studied me for a long moment. Then he said, "You ever think about looking them up?" I clenched my jaw. "No." He nodded. "Good. People like that don't deserve to know you." That was the night I legally changed my name. Daniel Carter. Not the scared kid left at a gas station. Not the boy they threw away. Someone new. By 25, I was a millionaire. Tech startups, real estate, investments. I built an empire out of sheer spite. I bought a penthouse with floor-to-ceiling windows, a place where I could look down at the city and think, I did this. Without them. But success didn't erase the past. Some nights I'd wake up in a cold sweat, back in that gas station parking lot, hearing their laughter. Let's see if he can crawl back. I never did. And then they found me. A knock on my office door. My assistant hesitated. "There's a family here to see you. They say..." "They're your parents?" My blood turned to ice. I stepped into the lobby and there they were. My father, older, heavier, his cocky smirk long gone. My mother, her eyes red-rimmed, wringing her hands. My brother looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. I let them sit in my office, with its floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city they could never afford to step foot in again. The silence was thick, suffocating. My mother kept sniffling, her fingers twisting the strap of her worn-out purse. My father stared at the ground, his pride crumbling like the empire he'd lost. My brother, always the golden child, looked at me like I was a stranger. Maybe I was. "You look good," my mother finally said, her voice trembling. I didn't answer. My father cleared his throat. "Listen, Daniel." "It's Mr. Carter," I repeated, my voice calm, icy. "You lost the right to call me anything else 10 years ago." His face darkened, but he didn't argue. Not yet. My brother Ethan finally spoke. "We're in trouble." I leaned back in my chair, steepling my fingers. "And?" My mother burst into tears. "We need help. Your father's business. The creditors. They're going to take everything. The house, the cars." "The cars?" I interrupted, a bitter laugh escaping me. "Funny. I remember one of those cars driving away without me." My father's face twisted. "That was years ago. You can't hold that against us forever." I stood slowly, walking around my desk until I was right in front of him. He flinched. "Good. You left me at a gas station like trash," I said, my voice low, dangerous. "You laughed. You drove away. You didn't call. You didn't come back. For 10 years I didn't exist to you. And now?" I smirked. "Now you want my money?" My mother reached for me. "Daniel, please." I stepped back. "No." The word hung in the air, final. My father's face turned red. "You ungrateful little..." "Careful," I warned, my voice deadly soft. You're not in a position to insult me. Ethan stood, his hands clenched. We're family, I laughed, really laughed. No, family doesn't leave each other to rot. I walked to the door, opening it for them. Get out! My mother sobbed. My father's shoulders slumped in defeat. Ethan glared at me like I was the monster. They left, but I wasn't done. I made sure they felt it. Every investor they tried to crawl to, I owned them. Every bank that might have given them a loan, I made sure they were blacklisted. I leaked my father's financial ruin to the press, ensuring no one would ever trust him again. Ethan lost his job. Turns out his employer didn't like fraud allegations, even if they were only whispers in the right ears. My mother tried calling me, begging, crying. I blocked her number. A year later, I heard they'd moved into a trailer park. My father was working at a hardware store. Ethan was delivering pizzas. I should have felt satisfied, but all I felt was empty. The letter. It arrived on a rainy afternoon, a single envelope, handwritten, my mother's shaky script. Daniel, I know you hate us. I know we deserve it, but I need you to know I regret it. Every day. I should have stopped the car. I should have gone back. I failed you. I don't expect forgiveness, but I hope someday you'll believe me. Mom. I stared at it for a long time. Then I tossed it into the fireplace. The flames ate the words, turning them to ash, just like my childhood, because some wounds never heal, and some people don't deserve a second chance.